going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're up in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
But I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult. The understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Barani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pite's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pite going to have a go. Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just touch up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race 2.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here at the UkSimracers MX5 Season 3 of 2024, and it's round 5 at Silverstone Legacy South Circuit. This circuit has no history whatsoever, apart from the fact that this is the very circuit that our very own Mr. Craig Jones went the wrong way. This is the one. This is it. And we'll show you where he went wrong very, very shortly. Let's have a look at the standings to this race after the last one at Cadwell Park. Colin Sanson out in front on 345, with Charles Kellerman sitting in second and Theona Siddons in third. Then you've got Andy Littler, Alan Toon, Craig Jones and Mick Barry, the only point scorers from this season. In the pro standings, it is Pete Newman out in front on 538 with Dan Hunt, Jamie Ayres, Tom Griffiths, Steve Hefford, PVG, Ollie Ricks, Jamie Wilson and Ralph Cullinan. In the overalls, it is Dan Hunt out in front with Jamie Ayres, Pete Newman, Jamie Wilson, PVG rounding out top 5. Then you've got Ralph Cullinan, Steve Hefford, Colin Sanson, Charles Kellerman, Tom Griffiths rounding out the top 10. And then below that, you've got a list of drivers that have taken part over this 3 seasons and have not obviously got any more points than what they have at the moment. In the overall team standings, Momo leading away on 9944. Then results Cloven Iris team on 6118. Then you got Work Guard by result, Optical Green and DOF Reality, Team Chimera, Pure Sims result, Year 1, Safeguard, Pure Sims, SimRace Sweden and Aerokinetics. Welcome in Phil across the pond. Thank you so much for joining it. I have my ham and pineapple pizza. I'm ready for some great racing. Pineapple on a pizza. Controversial, Phil, but I do fully agree with you. It doesn't work. It shouldn't work, but it just somehow does. Onion Bake Arch there. So Alan for the win. Well, we're going to find out on that one. Now, I wonder, is Mr. Craig Jones out on the circuit? He is right here. Let's bring Tom into the booth with us. He's going to be alongside me here this evening. Tom, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Hello, James. Hello to everyone. And in case you ask, I do not have pineapple on pizza. No, I'm not that sacrilegious. If you want to,
are you a cereal in the bowl before the milk, or the milk before the cereal?
I don't even have cereal these days, James. To be honest with you, but back in my day, it was cereal before milk.
Your day? How old are you?
Yeah,
You're not that old. That's a thing that I can say, being nearly 50. Back in my day.
Well, I used to have bran flakes once upon a time, which I did enjoy, but for some reason nowadays, I just don't enjoy cereal anymore like I used to.
Oh, that's fair enough. I'm normally a midnight cereal man. I do an English, obviously English and the American. Craig's gone wrong again. That's where he went wrong last time. He has literally just shown you where he went wrong. So, there we go. What basically is supposed to happen at this circuit, this is a bit of a weird layout, right? Me and Tom had to do some research. Well, Tom did the research, to be blatantly honest, as to where this circuit layout was from. Now, it's actually from 2003 to 2009. That's right, Tom, isn't it? That's what we've determined. And it's the South Circuit of Silverstone.
Yeah, that's correct. So I did a little bit of digging because you were unsure what on earth this circuit configuration was. So I did my research to find, because there's so many configurations you can find over the years. This is one of the older ones, as you rightly mentioned. But yeah, in terms of where the cars are parked there, as you can see on the right-hand side of your picture, it's a runoff area. It's not even a pits complex. So it is a very weird layout, and hopefully Craig Jones goes the correct way this time in comparison to what we just saw him on picture and perhaps in the past that you've seen him. And hopefully we're going to be in some quality racing as well as a good qualifying session.
Yeah, it should be there as well. Daryl writes in YouTube, who the hell puts milk in the bowl first before cereal? Mate, typically, I've actually seen somebody that as well. I've had loads of conversations over the years, Daryl, as Craig just goes round there on the opening of qualifying, about cereal in the bowl before milk and the coffee before the milk and the hot water, and do you put the milk in before you put the hot water? All random conversations that we could be here all night. making or trying to put right, to be blatantly honest. But I did say somebody did have an argument with me, and it was an argument in the end because they were getting rather antsy about the fact I didn't understand why they put the milk in before the cereal. You know, hey, I'm a natural guy. You put the cereal in first and then the milk on top, so I know how much milk I've got to put in. But apparently he put the milk in before the cereal, and it turned into a full-blown argument, which was very bizarre because I'm not even sure how we ended up getting there. But this is some of the things, obviously, Tom, with this circuit that we've got to look out for. It's not very long at all, right? And there's only literally, it's 1.9 miles, and there's literally, what have we got? A few corners, say 5 at the most, if that, here. So surely nothing can go wrong, can it?
Well, you've got a few chicanes which you're having to navigate through Abbey Corner and Island. I think that's named the second chicane or the third chicane rather, before you feed back into Beckett's and Chapel and so on. So yeah, there's still quite a few corners which you need to nail around this configuration. In terms of lap times, we have seen it was like 1 minute 16s or something like that. So they'll have a lot of chances to get it right, but the tyres will fade away as the session progresses. So these first couple of laps for the drivers are going to be what determine who starts where for race 1, and I think you'll have the details in terms of the format for races 2, 3 and 4.
Yeah, we'll get them up on your screen very, very shortly here as well. We've got a couple of new drivers, part of the letter L racing team. We've got Luke Pullen has joined. Leon Jenkins is another one that's joined, and Andrew McEwen, all on the right hand side. They're all together there as well, drafting each other, mind you, down the straight. So this is Mr. Jones coming into that one. Onion there as well. I put the bowl in the cereal, but that's just me. So there we go. Fair play to you on that one. It's the best way to maximise your things. Right. So this is the straightaway. This is the start finish straight. That's the corner Craig went initially down in front there, and he skipped all of this out, but he's got it right this time, bless him. So fair play to him. I was having a conversation before we went live, and he did say that he was going to get it right and he was going to nail it and it was going to have no problems. So for Craig Jones, leading the AMs at the moment, PVG leading the pros. This could be an interesting one, I think, as well, because I've never been here. In fact, in all of my broadcasting days, I can't ever think I've been here, to be blatantly honest with you. But these drivers have been here. They all have been here before in the old configuration of the league that it is now. So they should all know their way round. But it looks a fun circuit to drive. It looks like a circuit that, to be honest, probably not much larger than a go-kart, Tom.
No, I think, to be honest, even if you send go-karts around this configuration, I don't think the engine would last, to be brutally honest with you. But the drivers know their way around in these Mazda MX5s. They love racing in these machines. They're very light to handle as well, but very easy to lose the rear, as you do require rear brake lock-in, and of course it's front-wheel drive because the engine is on the front of the machine. Unless it is four-wheel drive, if you want to correct me on that.
No, it's not. No, it's not front-wheel drive. It's not front-wheel drive, it's not four-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive. So I believe TCRs are front-wheel drive, Clios I believe are front-wheel drive as well. I don't think this Mazda Roadster is, to be blatantly honest. It's been a while since I've had to bring up car details, Tom. So I will just check, just in case I've got that wrong.
Well, we'll leave that for those who are watching to chat and then hopefully we can get the answers as we are speaking. We've got 10 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Dan Hunt continuing to set the pace with a 1 minute 16.7, over 2 tenths clear over Steve Heffer, with Jamie Ayres, PVG, who's in your picture at the moment. He's crossing over the line now. It's very weird around this course. There is a line that he'll be heading over, and he actually goes up to P2 with that latest effort.
Yeah, he does. Moves himself into second place. Dan Hunt out in front. Hefford, Ayres, Cullen and Sanson, McLean, Wilson, Jones. And then Kellerman, Siddons, McEwen and Jenkins. Pete Newman not got a time yet, and it's going to be interesting to see on that one. There's good old Sir Alan Toon, trundling around at the gentle age of 71. Bless him there as well. It's good in the MX5, but anything with downforce is boring. It's boring. Yeah, I don't think you can go much further than an MX5. Maybe the TCRs might work, Darryl, to be honest with you. But I think anything after than that you're probably stretching. I did drive the supercar V8s today. That would be an interesting one around here, because let's just put it this way, it was very interesting going around Long Beach in them. I did drive. I didn't finish last, so, you know, I'd take that as a win, to be blatantly honest with you. But, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, normally, I think this is one of the things, if you've never seen this series live, guys, as well, normally we would talk about overtaking positions, and, well, it doesn't seem to really worry these lot, Tom. It's the whole track's an overtaking position.
Yeah, I would say so. And I have to go to Luke Pullen, because he's just put in an absolute blinder of a lap, despite the fact that he's in the AM class, hence why he's got the blue icon next to his name. Yellow is for Pro and blue is for AM. But Luke Pullen has put in an absolute astonishing lap. He'll have only been on the circuit for like a few laps also, so the fact he managed to find the time on rather old tyres is quite impressive.
Yeah, it is on this one. Right, we've got two different things at the moment. The Mazda MX5, lightweight two-person sports car, with a front mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout. So they are rear-wheel drive here on this one. I didn't think they were. I didn't think they were front-wheel. Jamie is not doing too well at this circuit at the moment, sitting down in 6th. We're in that lull period of qualifying where they are trying to scrape tenths and thousandths off their time at the moment. So I'll tell you what we will do is we'll jump on board with Dan Hunt and we'll do a little bit of a lap around this circuit. We're coming into the final corner, which is, of course, is Stowe. Then on the run, now we're going to go down, it's coming down Vale on the modern day circuit, which you'll know, and then we'll go onto the brakes into the club chicane. We'll go left over the curb, look for the exit, go right, and now we're motoring all the way around through club on the way down into Abbey. We're going to come down to Abbey, we're going to have a right left to take us back on the run up into what is a chicane called Island, and that's the country island, not as in I-S-L-A-N-D, I-R-E-L-A-N-D. Now we're going to run all the way up here as well. You can see we're topping north of 90 miles an hour. We're going to come into the right left. Slight little lift here. And now we're back on the throttle again. It's almost full speed through that. There could be a lot of time won and lost. Now through Beckett's, which, as you know, comes obviously before Maggots or after Maggots. Then out of Beckett's into Chapel, and then down the hangar straight we go. Coming down into Stowe, which is obviously the corner at the end of the lap. It's the last corner on the circuit. Again, topping north of 120 just. Onto the brakes, through the gears we go. Dan Hunt going down to second gear. And now we've got a rip down. Now this is where the start-finish straight is. The finishing line is just there. And I'm not quite even sure, to be honest, Tom, where Barney will be on this one, because I've never, as I say, never been here before.
Well, it'll be probably on the right-hand side, with, you know, where the Armco is to the right-hand side of Vale. That's probably where he's going to be at. Craig Jones has gone purple in sector 3. Is he actually going to improve on his time from before? He's currently 4th in class and 10th overall, but for some reason he's set a purple in sector 3, so he might be able to scrape a 10th or so out of his latest effort. And I don't think he actually improved, did he? But one driver that did improve was Jamie Wilson, who goes up to 8th.
Yeah, it did go. Jamie Wilson goes up to 8th. Craig Jones did not improve, but that may have something to do with the fact that he's sitting on 9 off tracks at this moment in time. So there's probably a lot of laps, but some of them are invalidated. He's done 6.5 so far. He's got Ralph Cullinan sitting in behind him. No Pete Newman, so I am a little bit worried. Hope Pete is okay. Right-hand side under the Abbey Gantry is Barney, hiding place. He's difficult to spot. Wonderful. Great on that one, so we'll have to do some spotting for Barney. Ah, there he is, just on the left-hand side coming over. If the cars come over a little bit more, you just might see him there underneath the timing tower. That is Barney. He's sat there he is, just hiding. Tucked in nicely is old Barney, in a good old safe spot there, Tom.
A good old safe spot indeed, and not a bad place to stand. It's almost like me standing there with a camera, just taking photographs of the cars coming through. Not quite what I was doing at Silverstone recently, but I think you can all sort of get the idea as to where I'm coming from. But mind you, this is a different configuration compared to what it is now, with all the changes that have happened well over a decade ago. Looking to see who's actually improving. I don't really think anyone is, but I'm not familiar with Luke Pullen, Andrew McEwen, and Leon Jenkins. So those are three to look out for this evening. Andrew McEwen is in the pro class, whereas Jenkins and Pullen are in AM.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They are new to the series, so I'm going to be interested to see how they get on here, and I do wonder whether or not they're going to be up there. Now, it's not often that we get new drivers, believe it or not, in the series. These guys have kept it that way on purpose due to the fact that obviously it's close racing, and you know what it's like when sometimes people come in, it all gets a little bit wrong and chaotic. But these guys have kept it like this, and it's been like this for nearly 2 years now. But they've opened it up and allowed a few others in, so we'll see on there as well. iRacing's version of Where's Wally? What a good book that was as a kid. Perfect for Ralph, not many words. Oh, Darryl Wright, you nasty rascal on that one. But yeah, Where's Wally? I do remember that book. That was the book that my parents used to give me when I used to get on their nerves, Darryl. And they sat me in the corner with the Where's Wally book and said, until you find him on every page, don't come back out. Oh, those were the good 7-8 hours I spent up in my bedroom finding Where's Wally, let's put it this way. I think this is going to be a very exciting evening of racing. I think this is just going to be one of them time where we sit back and just go, what the blinking Nora did we just watch, with the amount of action that's going to take place, I believe.
Well, we felt that way last week with me and Dean watching the drivers go around Cadwell Park, because that was a new circuit which iRacing had released recently. And that put on a better show than we had expected. So I'd expect this configuration of Silverstone to do exactly the same.
Yeah, I did miss that one, unfortunately. I was having a few issues. Generally, the issue would be that my ISP provider decided to tell me that they're going to turn off the internet between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. Now, if anybody knows me, you will know I'm on the internet, generally sat here in my office at them times doing things that I'm doing now. So, yeah, without that, there wasn't a lot. It's surprising how much your house relies on internet. My TV is internet, my phone, my computer, any form of device I had in the house that I could have watched something on was needed to connect to the internet. And, well, I didn't have any of it. So the kids were bored, as you can imagine. And yeah, there was really nothing we could do because we don't have normal terrestrial TV as such. But, you know, so yeah, that was a very long night for us in the Parfitt household with no internet between 7 and 5. But on the upside, they did notify me to tell me.
Well, there you go. I think that's part of the thing with internet issues. Hopefully that won't happen to me too much whenever I eventually move into my own home. But going back to the action, Ralph Cullenan's done a super job actually. He's one of only 3 drivers to make it into the 1 minute 16s in 3rd place, 2nd in class. So let's see if he can have a better evening than we've seen from him throughout the course of this year.
Now I'm just going to see whether or not Luke Pullen, if he has a good one, whether or not he's going to stay in AMS. I'm going to be quite interested to see what happens there as well. Now, a quick question for you. Okay, Steve Hefford, our resident driver of Team Momo. When do you think he won his last 3-season champion? Let me do the grid, actually. Have a think, and I'll do the grid, because you know these guys get on the grid very, very quickly. When was Steve Hefford's overall last championship win? Right, here is the grid. If you know in YouTube chat, put it in as well. Dan Hunt is on pole, Luke Pollen in 2nd, Ralph Cullinan 3rd, PVG 4th, Steve Hefford 5th, Jamie Ayres in 6th, then Leon Jenkins in 7th, Jamie Wilson, Colin Sampson, Andrew McEwen, Craig Jones and Charles Kellerman. Below that, we've got Darrell McLean, Fiona Siddons, Alan Toon, and Pete Newman. I'm not sure if Newman's going to make it onto the grid here this evening as well. We'll give you a couple of more minutes on that question. When was Steve Hefford's last overall try win. And I say try because obviously, you know, we do 3 seasons here across the year. We do spring, summer and fall, or autumn, depending on where you're from. And this is the last one. But when was his win? We'll give you about a couple of minutes left on that one. As I'm going to put Tom on the spot now. Tom, any ideas?
Ooh, I would probably say, are we talking tri-season or like specific? Okay, I'd probably say the spring of 2023.
Okay, let me know in YouTube chat. I'll pick it up very, very shortly here for race number 1. Just waiting for Charles Kellerman to get on to the grid. If anybody knows in YouTube, of course, you can have a just a dabble. It doesn't matter what year you put. You can just put year. You're not going to win anything apart from just whether or not you get it right, I suppose. So there you go. Let me know if you've got any ideas. Right, let's get these on the grid. I think Pete Newman is not going to make it, so I hope he is okay there for Pete. He is not going to make this, I don't believe. Oh, he has made it. He popped on right at the end. So here we go. Lights are going to be coming on very, very shortly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are green, green, green. Big puff of smoke. Dan Hunt straight across the circuit. Covers off Pollen straight at the start. Pollen there with Cullinan alongside. PVG in behind that. Hefford in behind that one. Ayres there as well. Everybody makes it through. Turn number 1. Newman gained 2 places as he just looks at going up the inside of Darren McLean. But it is Dan Hunt taking the whole shot into the right left of Abbey now. Yes, it is. You heard me correctly. It's right. And his left through Abbey. Dan Hunt leading the way. Luke Pullen in second place. Ralph Cullinan in third. Not a bad start for Cullinan whatsoever, but he is under attack from PVG. He's just about trying to go around the outside here on a very difficult section.
Great move from PVG. Round the outside of Collins, they went through Island and heading back towards familiar surroundings of Beckett's and Chapel. Dan Hunt maintaining the advantage over the AM leader of Luke Pullen, and PVG up into 3rd position at the end at the expense of Ralph Cullinan as Pete Newman continues to make his way through from the back. Yeah,
he does. Newman still continuing to come through there as well. 13th place. I mean, when was he last tri-season champion? Not Bathurst. Spring this year, dear sir. Not when he last won, but when did he last win the 3-season championship? Kellerman is just about, I've got a funny feeling, from Newman as he's on his way round Stowe, coming down into club. You can see the cars there. Everybody still, no major dramas for anyone currently. Craig Jones still going the right direction, which was always good. He's got Colin Sanson in front of him. Andrew McEwen in front of that one. Leon Jenkins sitting second in the AMs at the moment, 7th overall. An amazing job. Jamie Ayres has just blinkered, which is never good. The other new one, of course, Luke Pullen, setting 2nd overall in the AMs. Now, as I say, whether or not he's going to stay there, we will see as the rounds develop. It'll be over the next couple of rounds if there are any changes. But PVG sitting in 3rd place, chasing them down all at the same time. Great load of action going on here, Tom, and lots to take note of here as these guys continue to fight. PVG tucked in, Hefford tucked in, Cullinan tucked in, and Jamie Ayres tucked in for good health.
We've got a 4-way fight almost for 4th position involving Cullinan, Hefford, Ayres and Jenkins for that matter. As they a little nudge there from Hefford on Cullinan on the approach to Stowe corner. Hefford will have to go to the outside because he knows that Cullinan is going to end up braking earlier as he ever so does. But Cullinan somehow maintains the position as Hefford jots back.
Oh, he gave him a squeeze there, did Ralph. Ralph put the squeezers on him. Steve Hefford felt like what it was like to be an orange and a juicer at that moment in time because Ralph was squeezing the living daylights out of him. Jamie Ayres now in here. He's got Jenkins in front. Hefford, Ayres and Jamie Wilson, has got Jenkins, Hefford, Ayres and Cullinan all in front. Craig Jones now lost that place to Pete Newman. That's really no surprise for Craig at this moment in time, of course. Completely different classes. Pullen has got PVG tucked in, and as expected here, Tom, it's any part of the track for any part of the overtake at any point of the race.
And it's everywhere you look to see the drivers going up on 2 wheels, flying over the curbs around Abbey Island and perhaps even Beckett for that matter. And they're coming round the hangar straight once more. And we see Pullen under attack then from the Dutchman, PVG, heading towards the right-hander of Stowe for the third time in this race, but no way through just yet for PVG as he looks to just hold him off, well, just sit him behind for now and hope that Pullen makes a mistake somewhere, unless Pullen can get by Dan Hunt.
Yeah, I think Pullen's going to be under attack for pretty much the majority of this race. His first race here with 10 minutes closing in, and Dan Hunt leading the way, Pullen there and VPVG. Then we've got Cullinan. He's got a collection of heirs: Hefford, Jenkins, Wilson, McEwen, Newman, Sanson, Craig Jones dropping back. However, he's dropping into the clutches of the man himself, Mr. Charles Kellerman. So Craig could be under attack from Charles very, very shortly as these guys are looking to fight. Steve Evans gone off the side of the sack. He's just made a mistake. They're going to run 3 wide. Is this going to be 4 wide? Jenkins is in there. McEwen is in there. Wilson's in there. Hefford's in there. They didn't make it 3, but they did make it 2. Through a very fast part. Sack it. Newman's gone. Wilson's gone. Oh, no. Huge.
And that's game over for Pete Newman. It was a hard hit into the barrier. And yeah, I think when all 5 started dicing at pretty much the same time, it was only going to end in one outcome through a chicane like this. In fact, Newman lost it by himself. It just took too much curb on entry. And he was concentrating more on the drivers ahead as opposed to just his own driving. And that's what cost him.
Yeah, it was all on his own. It wasn't even with anybody else, which was a bit of a surprise there. But to see Hunt still leading, Pullen still in there, Van Gaal, Cullinan still got airs for company, dropped Hefford 3.3 seconds. Hefford is now under attack from McEwen, Sanson, Jenkins, Jones and Kellerman as these guys at the back have caught up. Wilson's recovering. He's on the back end of this. McLean is there. Fiona Siddons and Sir Alan Toon are having their own little bit of a battle down here for the work by result team as well. Get him, Tooney, get him, as it goes and fights on there. Kellerman's made a mistake. Jones made a mistake. They're going to be 3 wide, going down into the corner, into the right-hander. No, Jones! Kellerman hip checked him. Oh, it's over. Oh.
And that'll be the end of it for Craig Jones. It was a bad mistake because he was concentrating more on Kellerman on his right-hand side. And he wasn't aware that Wilson was alongside. Yeah, what he should have done in that situation is just lift off and allow Wilson and Kellerman go. And he didn't do that.
I don't think, though, for Jones that he was expecting Kellerman to hip check him like that. Watch, he's closing, and then bump, hip checks him off. He goes into Wilson on the outside, and unfortunately it's game over for Mr. Jones, who sat in the pit lane. Hunt, Pullen and PVG, Cullinan and Ayres still continue to fight. Hefford, McEwen, Sanson, Jenkins and the hip checking man himself, Mr. Charles Kellerman, in behind it. Wilson's now fighting with Siddons. Ayres and Cullinan are running side by side. Ayres has just gone up the inside of that one, and Dan Hunt leading the way on this one. What are you being nasty about, Phil? Craig only has to follow the car in front. This is also true. The answer to my question, by the way, as well, was back in 2018. And yeah, for Steve Hefford, that was actually in a that was the last 48-week season where they combined all 4 seasons in an actual 36-week season. He's never won. He has never won the championship since they went to a tri-season in 2019. Steve Hefford was the last 2018 winner when it was divided by 48 weeks. So there you go. The answer to your question was 2018.
That's quite a start there. I don't know if he even remembers that far, considering he's raced so many times in his Mazda MX5s. But, you know, he's got battle on his hands to really make up for it. But now he's in a battle of his own with Andrew McEwen, the debutant, one of the 3 debutants this evening. But the trouble for Hefford is that McEwen is in the same class as he is, so he's going to have to really fight in this one.
Yeah, he is. He's going to have to put the effort in, because Sanson ain't no slouch either. Colin Sanson might be in the arms, but he is not a slouch by any shape or form of the imagination. Sanson, there's nothing worse than turning right to go left on that one, Colin. As you see on his steering wheel, he was turning right to make that go left there, Tom.
Yeah, he was always going to. Yeah, sorry, he was going to take too much curve through there, and he was always going to lose balance. But luckily, he was able to catch it and carry on as he is doing. But now he's behind Hefford and McEwen in the battle for 6th place overall. But McEwen and Hefford are in the battle for 5th place in class, whereas Sanson is in a battle for 2nd place in class with Jenkins. I think Pollen's just been overtaken by PVG now for P2 overall.
Yeah, and I believe Ralph Cullinan has just lost a place to Mr. Jamie Ayres. So Cullinan loses the place to Ayres right at the time that Pullen loses the place to PVG. So unfortunately for him, it's a battle away. You're in 3rd now, son. And what are you going to be able to do here? I'm not entirely sure they got this one right with the Pro-Ams on that one. I think Pullen should have been probably a pro at the same time. And Jenkins is right, but I believe that McEwen should also stay as a pro on that one. But we'll leave that up to the guys that run the league. That has got nothing to do with us whatsoever. I'm going to just put my little 2 pence worth in, as I normally do here. But Leon Jenkins on the back of Colin Sanson, and as I say, it's going to be a struggle for Jenkins here. They're going around the right-hander now. Then they're going to be coming through that very fast section here. It's interesting that they marked this as a chicane, but it's just more like a flowing right left, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a bit like a slalom. And in case you're wondering why it's called Island, it's not because of the country. I think it's named after the former racer Innes Island from the 1950s, believe it or not. You can see Hefford pulling to the side. It looks like he might have picked up a slowdown.
Yeah, he did on that one. That was probably going through Ireland. Ireland, if you look at it, it's very VIR-esque with the snakes there as they all go through the snake section. You take it as straight as literally physically possible on that one. Leon Jenkins, Colin Sanson, McEwen. McEwen just got that all wrong. PVG, Dan Hunt and Luke Pullen, and Ralph Cullinan has gone off the side of the circuit.
Yeah, he's had a spin, James. He's had a spin on the exit of Vale, and he's behind Jamie Ayres when he had the spin. Now, does he lose it by himself? He will have done. Yeah, the car just doesn't want to bite, does it? And he ended up spinning round. Yeah,
he did, unfortunately, there for the Irishman. A bit of a harsh one for him. Colin Sanson and McEwen. McEwen's gone round. He's facing the opposite direction, is Andrew McEwen. So we'll see just rather quickly what he got himself up to. Bounced the curb. Yep. Then he's going to hit the unsettling the car, and then unfortunately it's just all on his own on that one. Hefford's in with Ralph Cullinan, and both of these guys are recovering. PVG has got Pullen in behind him, and I'm probably hoping for PVG that Pullen pushes him along there as well. See, all the comedians are in tonight. Oh, Craig, never mind, mate. Never mind. Hey, on the upside, Mr. Jones, you went the right way. On the bad side, you ended up on your roof. Can't win them all, Mod. Can't win them all.
You can't win them all. But you've got 2 laps together. I'm just looking at the time that we've got left and the lap times we have seen. It will be... This is the penultimate lap now, James. So Pullen, well, he's got the AM victory in his pocket, providing he doesn't make any mistakes, especially through the chicanes of Abbey and Island.
Yeah, he's gone to the right. He's got through that one. And that was the site of his letter L racing teammate, who unfortunately went off, and that was Mr. Andrew McEwen. Jamie Ayres running around all on his own at the moment. He's got 4 seconds in front and 4 seconds behind. Cullinan's lost a place to Hefford. Hefford's now going after, who's he got in front of him at the moment there? Colin Sanson. Siddons further down with Tooney. Tooney has taken Siddons on that one. So go Alan Tooney. He's going to finish higher than Mr. Craig Jones here this evening in race number 1. But it's all about this leader, and where is he going to see this from? Are we going to see Barney now on the right-hand side waving that white flag? We're not. It's going to be 1 and 1 more. 1 minute 16 lap times, 1 and 1 more. So we're going to have a 12-lap race in the rain that generally traditionally comes in race number 4. We might only see 11 laps, I think, on that one then, Tom, because they are generally slower, but unfortunately, well, not drastically slower. Now, I can safely say these cars are a nightmare in the rain. I tried to take it round Nords the other day, just because I thought it'd be a great SR gainer. Well, it turns out, don't take an MX5 round Nords in the rain. It's not good for you. whatsoever. Hefford has just lost that place to Cullinan, partly because they are literally side by side. Cullinan does manage to hang on and keep that 7th place that he just battled so freely to get here, but Pullen has now got Van Gaal, who is breaking away just a little bit here, Tom, coming onto that final lap very, very shortly.
What has PVG got left in there, or is he thinking about just get the car home in a strong P2 finish? It's some time since PVG had won a race in the UkSimracers MX5s, but second place will most certainly do, and a position that will most certainly do for a particular AM driver is a Mr. Luke Pullen, who on debut is going to take a class win.
Yeah, he definitely does, and definitely will there. But how much longer will he be an AM? That's going to be the question as these guys coming round the final corner now. We should be on the final lap of the race. We'll keep an eye out for Barney. There he is, tucked behind the fence underneath the gank tree. And it is the final lap. You've got one more go at this, PVG. What are you going to do, son? What would you do on this one, Tom? Would you go for it? Or would you retain the points that you've got there?
Well, it depends where your mindset is at, but if there's an opportunity you can get into the draft, then go for it. And the hangar straight will be where PVG can get into the situation, but he needs to be within a certain distance behind to sort of even get a touch of draft to try and get alongside and use that momentum. But it looks like Dan Hunt may have this one in his pocket unless he makes the daftest of mistakes, because on the exit of Stowe is pretty much where the finish line is at. So PVG needs a good tow out of here, but he's too far back, so it should be victory for Dan Hunt in race 1.
Oh, Tom, you're very, very, very early there. We've got a looping run. He's 2/10, 1/10. Oh, he's so close. Is he going to be able to nip up the inside of Dan Hunt? Is Dan Hunt going to run it a little bit wide? He's not. The start-finish line is on the crest there of the little bit of a hill in front. You can see them just coming over the line now. It is Dan Hunt. Hunt takes the victory in race number 1. Hunt takes the victory in race number 1. What about in the arms? Jenkins and Sampson are going to come side by side. Who's going to be able to get this? Is it going to be Sampson? It's going to be Jenkins. Just about there. Kellerman hangs on, Hefford hangs on, and Cullinan hangs on to the positions that they're in. Fiona Siddons has left Sir Alan Toon. I wonder if Tooney had a little bit of an error. He did, unfortunately, for Alan Toon, as it's coming on to Chapel. Great race 1. I don't know if I was expecting maybe just a little bit more from race 1 on that, but still, these guys provided.
Yeah, well, we've got a reverse grid coming up in race 2, so it should be more spicy than what we had in race 1. Congratulations to the pro podium. They are Hunt, Gould and Ayres, and the AM podium consisting of Pullen, Jenkins and Sanson.
Yeah, just wait for old Alan Toon. Come over the line. Good old Tooney, 71, bless him. I don't know if I'm still going to be commentating at 71, mind you, but he's still racing, so fair play to Alan Toon. Loves every second of it and doesn't really care at all where he finishes. So fair play to Mr. Tooney. Here are the results from race number 1. Dan Hunt is your winner with PVG in 2nd. Luke Pullen in 3rd. Then you got Jamie Ayres, Leon Jenkins and Colin Sanson. Pullen winning the AMs there. Jenkins and Sanson finishing off the podium. Then Ralph Cullinan, Steve Hefford, Charles Kellerman, Darren McLean, Andrew McEwen, Jamie Wilson, Fiona Siddons, Sir Alan Toon, Craig Jones and Pete Newman, who we saw have that amazing spin there on, unfortunately, for him. But what do we reckon? It's not going to be deemed a classic, Tom, but it still weren't half bad.
It still wasn't half bad, and I would expect there to be a whole lot more. I think once they understand where the passing opportunity is going to be at, they'll take more risks. So I think that was just an understanding of how to get through the corners in racing conditions. Dan Hunt taking what is, I'm just looking at the number of wins he's had so far in the autumn campaign, and that is win number 5. He won last week at Cadwell Park in race 2. He won in Brands Hatch in races 1 and 2, and he won in race 3 in Dollington. He had a mare at the first round in Snetterton. But he's recovering nicely, he's done, so he's doing a super job. Whereas for Pete Newman, the championship leader, well, he's had a race to forget, and he's got with it all to do for the remainder of the evening.
Yeah, he definitely has on that one. Now, my next trivia question, you've got about 2 minutes to answer this one. There is a certain individual that went the wrong way at Silverstone. When did he last win an AM championship? When do we think Craig Jones last won the championship? Now, Craig, don't put your blinking answer in there if you are in YouTube chat. We'll give them a minute as well. Get your guesses in. No right or wrong answer, guys. It's just for a bit of fun. Craig Jones has won the AM championship, believe it or not. What year was it? So there we go. We'll give you a till they start gridding on that one. We'll let Tom rack his brains in the process as well. We have got warm up now, 2.5 minutes. Don't forget, we will take a break after race number 2, where we'll be off air for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how long it takes to get set up. Back again, 1904, says Fiona. Well, he does look a bit rough, bless him, on that one. But no, Fiona, unfortunately, you're not correct. Going into race 2, as we know, a reverse grid always mixes things up and can provide great racing here. You know, the likes of the guys in front are going to have to try and come through the field. I believe it's the top 9, if I'm not mistaken, on the reverse. So it could be very, very interesting to see how they make it through. Because I think for me, Tom, this circuit, nobody is really faster than anybody else. Like, there's not a great deficit between the fastest pro to maybe, well, same with Alan too, maybe the slower AM.
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of fights happening throughout the field anyway. And going on to the subjects of pro and AM, we spoke about Luke Pollen earlier. I mean, look at Ollie Riggs. Since he got the promotion up from AM to pro, he's been nothing like what we saw him in AM.
Yeah.
You know, last week, I mean, he's not here tonight, but last week, he had a dreadful run of races, and he has struggled. And I don't know whether it's maybe the team that he's in or whether the car that he's in now just hasn't been to his liking, but he's been anything. He hasn't been anything like we saw from him in AM, where he just showed his class. He showed his class and he made some of the pros look like AMs.
Yeah, he definitely did on that one. I can safely say, I'm going to close that quiz off now, partly because there's a correct answer in YouTube chat. Darryl Wright, you are correct. It was back in 2022 when Craig Jones won the AM championship. And trust me, I'm constantly hearing about him and his 4 trophies. So there we go on that one. But yeah, 2022, Craig Jones has done it there. There's somebody on this current grid who has taken 2 seasons with the most wins. Can you name the driver? 2 seasons with the most wins per season. He is the only one since 2018 that has done it twice. Have a think about that one while we get the grid up and running. Let us know in YouTube chat if you've got any guesses. Somebody on this current grid has taken the most wins in a season twice. He is the only one to do it off this current grid here within the last 6 years. So there we go. Let me know if you've got a guess, and we'll see how you get on. Jamie Wilson will be on pole with Andrew McEwen in 2nd and Darren McLean in 3rd. Charles Kellerman in 4th. Then you've got Steve Pefford 5th. Ralph Cullinan in 6th. Colin Sampson in 7th. And Leon Jenkins 8th. Jamie Ayres 9th. Luke Pollen 10th. PVG and Dan Hunt in 11th and 12th. Top 12 reverse. Fiona Siddons, Sir Alan Toon, Craig Jones and Pete Newman. We are going to be up and running. Jamie Wilson on the front. The lights are coming on onto your screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ladies and gentlemen, race 2 is green, green, green. And Jamie Wilson did not get a great first part of that start. I can tell you now, McEwen is almost, if he's not quite brave enough, he could have been alongside him there. Charles Kellerman got himself bunched and pinched on that inside by Darren McLean and Steve Hefford. Cullinan leading the way. Cullinan with in 6th place. Jenkins, Sanson in behind. Jamie Ayres is there. Luke Pollen's there. PVG is there. And your winner from the first race, Dan Hunt, no gains whatsoever over the first part of this race as they're coming through now to the right-hander up here as well, leading into Ireland. And at the moment, Dan Hunt stagnated. He's down in 12th still.
Yeah, so he's down positions is Dan Hunt from where he was on the grid. It'd have been 9th on the grid thanks to the reverse grid system. But yeah, he's left himself with some work to do. Jamie Wilson not getting off to the best of starts for the first part of it, and Andrew McEwen not courageous enough to get alongside and have a good run on the exit of Club, and he'd have been into the lead by the time they got into Abbey. But he's got plenty of chances to make up for that and send it on Jamie Wilson in the near future. And now we're looking at Steve Hefford, who looks to make his way through past Darren McLean.
Yeah, through Stowe they go. Hefford's got that inside line. This is a great opportunity for Hefford to take that victory. I can tell you what, he isn't going to be more given a plate than what he's got laid on right now for him. And he's got to work out how he's going to do that. Through the club chicane they go, starting lap number 2. The long looping right-hander on the Abbey straight, coming into the corner just very, very shortly. You just see it in front of you where you're going to go right. Now you're going to go left, and then you're going to take that run up to Ireland. This is where McEwen has got a great opportunity to close in with Wilson. Can he get there? That's going to be the question. We're agonising close. We're almost touching. We're going for the right-hander. It's the fast right, left, right hand a bit again. Then into the slow right-hander at Beckett's. And McEwen just cannot get him this time around. And it looks like our third place man from race number 1 has had a bit of a moment. And as he had a moment with Kellerman, oh, he did. Oh, he definitely did there for Jamie Ayres. Had a big old moment with Charles Kellerman.
Yeah, and into the barrier. Hopefully he hasn't sustained too much damage from that, but that has left Jamie Ayres with a lot of work to do. And we are seeing Andrew McEwen take the lead now from Jamie Wilson heading through Stowe. And McEwen having a good race so far, and a good evening for that matter, as we see Ralph Cullinan banging wheels there. That looks like, was that Charles Kellerman he was alongside that he was banging wheels with?
It was, yeah. Ralph Cullinan with Charles Kellerman side by side. Jenkins in the mix, pulling alongside him, both from the Level L Racing team, the drivingcrooner.com as well. If anybody wants to go and check that out, and they can tell me what that actually is. Colin Sanson nestled in right behind him at the moment. I was trying to read what words they've got on the back of their car there. Just can't quite see them enough. So, but we do have, however, PVG running alongside us. There is the Dutchman. Oh, there's Pete Newman. We're actually 3 wide going into the right-hander, 4 wide as well. And poor old Colin Sanson just got absolutely swamped on that one, and literally he had nowhere to go. And, well, there's just nowhere for Colin Sanson. He just lost all of them positions all in one go. We're going to watch Pete Newman come hurling in very, very shortly as well here. And Newman gets involved in this one. He gets a great one. Ayres is on the outside. PVG's there. Here comes Newman. They go 4 wide on this race circuit. And then, unfortunately for Colin Sanson, he's just down 3 places, and the guys in front continue the race. Great 4 wide action taking place here, but Hefford now has got McEwen in his sights. Wilson's tucked in right behind him as well here, Tom. Lap 4, 10 minutes left on the clock. This is better. This is what I thought we were going to see in race number 1.
Yeah, that triple overtake from Pete Newman was probably the overtake of the year. So if anyone wants to argue that from what they've seen across 2024, then answer now, as we see. Is that Newman who's tussling with McEwen? Yeah.
Yeah, well, McEwen went off the side of the circuit. That's Wilson and Hefford there. And currently, Phil and Darrell, you are both incorrect, believe it or not. He is not the individual. This individual has 65 wins spread across 2 seasons, and the most out of everybody over 2 seasons. The only man to take the most wins category. Dan Hunt starting to come back through. He's got Craig Jones there. I wonder if Hunt's got damage, because I tell you what, he's not making the inroads that we thought he was going to do, and I don't know where he would have got the damage from, Dan Hunt, but he is slacking. Started in 12th, but now down in 13th. 117 for Dan Hunt down that straightaway, and normally they're topping north of 120, but Jones and Sanson having a right little ding-dong. Sanson's going to keep carrying on the inside, coming into club, but is Jones going to be brave enough to throw it around the outside? Has he got the kahunas to do it? He hasn't. Now he's going to lose that position, Sampson, and Sanson gets through, but all kicking off back up front with Hefford, Wilson and McEwen.
I wonder if Dan Hunt has had contact with another driver over the course of that lap. I wonder if we can get a replay, if there is one, to see whether he has actually collided with someone, hence why he had slowed coming through Beckett's and the hanger straight. But back to the battle for the race lead. We've got Andrew McEwen ahead of Jamie Wilson and Steve Hefford right on the tail as they go through the slalom chicane of Ireland. And the right-hander of Beckett's is coming up. It's a very fast right-hander on this configuration. And now Jamie Wilson fancies a go on Andrew McEwen. He got a very strong exit out of Chapel. And this is going to be a chance for him to take the lead. But look who's coming through at the same time. It's Steve Hefford to the left-hand side of these two. And he's going to take the lead if he can make it.
Is he going to be brave enough? He is. Wilson backs out. McEwen backs out. Hefford goes in deep. That's going to free up Wilson to come back at him again. Is he going to be able to get through? McEwen's got nowhere to go, so he decides I'm going to try and take it free wide. Oh, Hefford squeezing Wilson a little bit. He's got to be a little bit careful. Hefford goes in a little bit deep. Wilson now tucks in behind him. It's now a run out of club. Round the long looping right-hander into Abbey, and at the moment Hefford's hanging on. Wilson is there. He's not giving him up though. Jamie Wilson sniffs the win here, I think, Tom, and he's having a right good old go in the process.
Yeah, they're just launching over the curves. Hefford with a poor exit out of Abbey, and that's going to give Wilson the high ground, but McEwen's making the most of the job, almost boxing himself in between the two, but luckily he's able to find his way out of it and not get sort of squeezed by the pair. But he has to be careful because there's Ralph Cullinan coming through, heading through Ireland, and also the AM leader Luke Pullen, who could all of a sudden get another overall podium out of this.
Yeah, he could well do there. He's sitting in first in the AMs at the moment is Mr. Pullen. Great job. Jenkins is just past, I believe. Darren McLeod on that one. Just trying to keep an eye out whether or not that is right. Newman's coming through the order. He's up 8 places, up 5 places, sitting in 8th, up 6 places now. So Timing Tower has a little bit of a wobble on it, but Jenkins is coming back at him. Newman's going to hang on, is he? Through club. Newman's going to be big and brave and take it around the outside, mate. He ain't going to let you have it. If you're going to cut his nose off, he will, still be there. He cannot Harry Potter out the way. I'll put you two out your misery. It's actually Pete Newman, 2020 and 2022. He had the most wins, totaling 65 over the 2 seasons. So great job from him. But Newman still going side by side with Jenkins. PVG in there. Jenkins has run a little bit wide. That's going to free up PVG to have an attack.
Yeah, so PVG under attack and also attacking as he looks to find his way through on Jenkins as they head through the right, left and right. Oh, there's a spin though. That is Jenkins going round into the gravel trap. He didn't hit the barrier or collide too heavily with the others, but that has sent him down the pack.
All the way down past Jamie Ayres, unfortunately for Leon Jenkins. 14th place. The battle is still commencing up front. It's still Hefford, it's still Wilson, it's still McEwen, and it's still the Irishman of Ralph Cullinan. And just to top it off, behind that is Luke Pullen. So nice little battles taking place at this moment in time. These front 5 swapping 2B2B2 here. McEwen's just about to have a go up the inside of Cullinan. Oh, both nearly lost it, and Ralph Cullinan unfortunately did lose it, but McEwen weren't too far from losing it also there, Tom.
Yeah, almost a T-bone for that matter, and Holland did very well to get through the collision that happened, and he's got himself up into 3rd place overall. And now we've got almost a spin there from Jamie Wilson, and Steve Hefford are right alongside as they head towards Ireland once more. Will Hefford send one to the outside? It'll be very, very risky. He'll have to be later on the brakes if he's going to pull it off, but it's not really somewhere to get the brakes applied as Wilson gets tapped and almost losing the momentum, and Pullen and McEwen go through.
Why? I don't get this. That left, right, left is not working. Too wide. It's too fast. You cannot make that happen at the moment. And everybody that's tried, one of them has lost out constantly. And it's been the same time and time and time again. So unfortunately, it looked like on that one as well, Ralph Cullinan and Colin Sanson almost became a bit of a cropper. Cullinan again is on the grass. Oh, he's going to lose places to Craig Jones and also Darren McLean. but Ralph Cullinan on the grass on that one. But McEwen has now got the ever-looming Pete Newman tucked in behind him.
There's 2 more cars looming behind PVG, and Dan Hunt could well get into the fight here before this race is over. We've got around 4 laps to go at most, but this is an entertaining battle in race 2. I think we've seen more in this one than what we had in race 1. Hefford under attack from the AM leader Luke Pullen, who could pick up a very rare victory for an AM driver. We saw it from Ollie Ricks at Spa in the summer campaign this year, where he won as an AM driver overall. Luke Pullen could end up doing the same here at Silverstone in the autumn.
Yeah, we've got the long run now. You can see on your screen how close we actually are. We're going under the bridge now, going down into Stowe. There goes Steve Hefford. Say goodbye, adios, signore. On the way through now, a little bit of a bump there. Pullen's going to try and be big and brave and take it round the outside. Stefford's going to try and get the run on him, but Pullen's got the inside line. There's a massive gap, massive overlay. Hefford goes all the way to the right. Pullen's going to try and come up the inside of him. They're going to tap each other. How bad is it going to be? That bad. Unfortunately, on board for Luke Pullen, and that was also Wilson and Pete Newman all involved on that one. So unfortunately, that did not quite work out for Luke Pullen, as he had that moment there. I think this was just too much power.
Well, he braked too early, that's why. And
he was tapped.
He was tapped by Wilson, and then Wilson went into Newman as a consequence. So a concertina collision there, but Luke Pullen was too cautious on the brakes entering Vale, and that was what caused Wilson to run into the back of him.
Yeah. Now we've got the group again. Pullen, Cullinan, Jones, Kellerman, Newman and McLean. How is Jones going to handle this one? He is just not far off the leader of the AMS. There is the leader of the AMS. There is Mr. Craig Jones, the old CJ himself, sitting in second overall. He's found his way around the circuit. Great. He has got a sat-nav on attached to his steering wheel just to make sure he gets round correctly, but he has managed to do it for Craig, and he's sitting in second. However, he has got the very looming Pure Sims of Pete Newman closing in at an absolute rapid rate of knots here. Cullinan's trying to make the move in front, didn't quite get through. Jones is going to have to now decide what he's going to do. Cullinan gives Pullen a big old little love tap, and Jones has now got an exit coming out. Is he going to be able to hold it? That's going to be the question for Jones. He's got past, he's got his nose in front of Cullinan. Cullinan into the right-hander. Oh, he just chopped him off. Cullinan's going to put him round. Is he going to put him round? Oh, they are tooth and nail here, Tom.
Yeah, I don't think Cullinan's been smart with where he's placing the car, to be honest with you, because he ran into the rear of Pullen when he knows he should have really have gone to the left slightly without running into him, and that cost him momentum. And now he's in the fight with Craig Jones, for which he had to be kind by allowing him through. So Cullinan's race isn't getting any better, and I don't know how Luke Pullen has maintained the lead in the ends, but he has done so. McEwen going through on Hefford as they head towards Stowe.
Yeah, side by side currently at the moment is McEwen and Hefford, that just popped up, that must have materialized coming through Beckett's. And these guys now, as we're going to be heading on to the final lap this time around, Barney's going to be on the left. He's waving just under the timing tower. Last lap of the race, Hefford and Andrew McEwen. Is McEwen going to get a debut win? Can he take a debut win here? It's going to be very, very interesting indeed for Andrew McEwen. He's got one more lap here, Tom. Can he take it?
Well, he's got every chance of doing so, but he's got to be sensible. That's the safest thing I can say. And McEwen is probably going to have to do it at Stowe Corner, but it has to be pretty much with a half a car's length in front going into it at the minimum. He won't want to do it into Ireland or Beckett's, but if he can get a strong enough exit through Chapel, he's got every opportunity to get into the draft and get at least half a car's length in front by the time they get to the apex of Stowe. But he's not got quite the best of exits out of there, but he's going to be making the most of the draft. He might just get in front, but it's no good just having his nose in front. He's got to have most of his car in front.
He's got to get in front of him, as you say. He's got to get right in front. He's got to loop this. He's got to loop this. Is he going to loop it? We are literally going to be side by side coming over the line. Is it going to be Hefford? It is Steve Hefford. Just about. What about Cullinan and Jones? Don't tell me Jones is going to beat Cullinan. Don't tell me that there as well. No, yes. Oh my God, blimey. He did, and he beat PVG. I think Pete forgot where the line was there.
I think he had a spin, James. He's had a spin on the exit of Stowe Corner. We'll get a replay of it, but I'm sure PVG and Dan Hunt had come together at Stowe Corner.
No, all on his own. Solo mio for PVG. Wow. Now that was an ending to a race. Pete Newman there. I think he's being pushed by Sir Alan Toon on that one. Tooney pushes him over the line. Good job. Al. Well done, mate. And Pete Newman just peels off there as well. So great action taking place for the second race of the evening. Here are the results. Steve Hefford is the pro winner. Go, Steve, on that one as he takes the victory there in first. McEwen so close, but yet so far to a debut win, with Dan Hunt wrapping up the 1-2-3 in the pros. In the arms, it was Luke Pullen taking his second win of the night. Craig Jones taking in second place, first podium of the evening. Then it was Ralph Cullen and PVG, Jamie Ayres, Darren McLean wrapping up the podium for the arms, and Jenkins, Kellerman, Jamie Wilson, Fiona Siddons, Pete Newman, Sir Alan Toon and Colin Sanson. Right, guys, we're going to jump onto a BIP screen while we change over sessions. Stay with us, grab a drink, get some popcorn, but don't go anywhere. This action is just getting started. Okay, guys, we are back live. I'm still James Parfitt, and I'm still joined by Mr. Tom Cairns here as well for what plans to be an epic race number 3. Don't forget, it's completely random. Hold on, for some reason I lost audio then. That was quite bizarre. Race number 4 will be a top 8 reverse on that one. PVG, nice one, Craig. At least you're on the proper layout. And that's always a good thing there for Mr. Jones, who took second in race number 2 in the AMS. Charles Kellerman, well done, CJ. And Craig there as well. I did hear from my lovely wife that Mr. Jones was moaning about me to his wife, saying apparently we were being cruel to him, Tom. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I don't know why we're being cruel to him. Well, he's probably alluding to the fact that, we were sort of discussing about the time we went through the wrong configuration. Hence why,
probably.
Well, but that's probably the reason why. But we were also had this debate about, do we put the cereal in the bowl first before the milk, or vice versa? And also the thing with pineapple on pizza. So there's all sorts of debates that we've been either slamming people about or being slammed about what we choose to do in terms of the habits. But I suppose it's the same with scones or scones, however you pronounce them. Do you put the cream on first or do you put the jam on first?
I don't know. I'm not a big lover of, well, they call them tea cakes, aren't they, really? Scones. On that one, I call them scones, to be blatantly honest with you. Right, a little bit of a quiz now. Who was the last team champions of 2023? Who was the last team champions of 2023? Get your answers in YouTube chat as well. We'll go until we start gridding up for race number 3 on that one. So who were the last team champions of 2023? Tom, you might not know this one. You weren't here in 2023, so I'll give you a pass on this one. I don't entirely think you'll know, but some people in YouTube chat might know. Darryl Wright, you should know. We have a teams championship. Yes, Craig, you do have a teams championship, believe it or not. Oh, dearie me. Oh, on that one. And he wonders why people take the mickey out of him. Who can figure? You know what I mean? For Craig on that one as well. But who were the last team champions of 2023? Get your answers in now. As I say, we'll go until we grid up for race number 3. Just have a complete random guess. It doesn't really matter on that one. You're not going to win anything as well. There's no I in team, but there is in Craig. There is, yes, but you are not a one-man wrecking machine, Mr. Craig Jones. I've got to be honest. However, you don't have a teammate here tonight. So, there we go. Who is actually your teammate? Do you even have a teammate, Craig? Who is your teammate? Let me see. What team are you in? Safeguard by result. Callum McPherson. Oh, he's not here. Let down on that one. So you are eyes as well. I have no mates. Yeah, true. On that one. But get your guesses in, guys. If you can think, if you can remember back. Phil, you might remember back in 2023. Who was the last team championship? Team champions. So there we go. On that one, don't forget, top 8 reverse for race number 4. Complete random grid for race number 3. We do not know who will be where until they get on the grid. So there we go. Tom, if you had to hazard a guess, can you think of a team that we've had over this series, and who would you put as the last team champions?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Momo, unless there's been a huge change of, well, drivers moving to different teams or whatever. So Momo would probably be my guess. But that sort of goes on to my argument. Do you think there should be more drivers on the grid with the teams that we have of existing? Because it feels like there's some teams with 3 drivers, other teams with like 2, and others with 1. It just feels like there should be more drivers in the teams that we already have.
The problem is some of the drivers that are in the teams are not turning up. So obviously the likes of Ollie Ricks is teamed up with Ralph Cullinan. Andy Littler is teamed up with Fiona Siddons and Sir Alan Toon. Obviously Craig is teamed up with Colin McPherson. Pete Newman is teamed up with Roger Morton, but Morton's not here. So Dan Hunt's never had a teammate. Tom Griffiths changed over to the Momo team briefly while Steve Hefford was out, and then come back to being a privateer. I can actually tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it was SOB Racing, and that was the team of Miles Owens, John Sylvester, and Ewan Bramer on that one. The grid: Pete Newman in first, Craig Jones in second, God help us, Fiona Siddons in third, Luke Pullen in fourth, then Dan Hunt, Steve Hefford, Jamie Ayres, Colin Sanson, Leon Jenkins, PVG, Andrew McEwen, and Sir Alan Toon. And then behind that we've got Darren McLean, Ralph Cullen, and Jamie Wilson, and Charles Kellerman. So look out for Pete Newman out in front. He's got to be a surefire winner of race number 3, as long as he keeps it in a straight line. So here we go now. We're going to be up and running very, very shortly here. Top 8 reversal race number 3, currently held by Colin Sanson, but I'm sure that will all change over the next 15 minutes. Get ready, guys. Once more, the lights are going to be coming on. It's, wow, where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Race number 3 is green, green, green. Pete Newman got it off the line. He got through the first stage cleanly. Is he going to be able to get through the second stage and take the lead through the first left-hander? He does, through the right-hander as well. Steve Evans at a moment. Oh, he's had a big moment. Oh, he got collected by Sir Alan Toon, I believe, for Steve Everett. But Fiona Siddons sitting in third, being absolutely swamped by Luke Pollen and the blinking Dan Hunt. Not blinking as in blinking Hunt, as in blinking as in his internet keeps going out. Pollen has made it through. Siddons is losing a place to Hunt, losing a place to Ayres, losing a place to Jenkins. But Pete Newman out in front, leading the way into the right-hander of Ireland. He's going to go. He is absolutely flying. Jones loses that place. Pullen takes over. The battle for the arms is hotting up. Pete Newman leading the whole shot here as well. Tom doing a great job out in front at the moment.
Shooting away into the distance goes Pete Newman after 2 really poor races tonight. This is a chance for him to recompense his evening and actually get a solid victory. But the bad news for him is that Dan Hunt is second in the pro class, his nearest championship rival, who's been in good form this evening with 2 podiums already, gone in for a third one this evening to pretty much be on terms with Newman as far as the championship is concerned. But there's a spinner at the back.
Fiona Siddons gone round, it looks like, here as well. Jones is side by side with Hunt, pushing Hunt along. He's got to cover his nose off. He did do there for Jones. Little bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment for Jones. He's trying to keep hold of Pullen, but it is currently Dan Hunt leading the way. Jamie Ayres sitting in behind him, all charging up at the light brigade to Craig Jones. Oh, he spun Hunt round. Dan Hunt sitting in the middle of the circuit. Craig Jones contact there. Leon Jenkins has just gone through. Was this Craig Jones's fault? That's going to be the question. Or did Dan Hunt just have a little bit too much of a zealous... Oh, I think that was a zealous dive there, wasn't it? And he tried to come across his nose.
Yeah. It's a bit 50-50 there. I mean, it was ambitious for Hunt to go through. Maybe Jones should have seen that coming. He just turned in maybe a little too late as Hunt was about to come alongside. I think once it was alongside at that moment, that was the point where Jones needed to back out of it, and he didn't quite do so. But we've got a battle now. We're looking at McLean, McEwen, Sanson, and potentially Cullinan, for that matter, as you see Jones go to the inside of Luke Pullen. And could that be for the AM lead? Exiting Stowe Corner. Pullen still has his nose in front, but Jones needs to watch for Ayres and Gould coming through.
Yeah, Jones getting a big brave boy there. He was, and he had to go at Pullen, and then loses the place to Ayres. It looks like he might lose it as well to PVG. Tucked him right behind him, the Momo man. Having a go through the right-hander. Is he going to sweep around the outside? Nope. Jones cuts his nose off, takes out of the way. Pete Newman is gone up the road. Luke Pollen trying to close him down. But Jones and PVG side by side on the run up into Ireland. This corner has not worked side by side at all for anyone all evening. Is it going to work now? It does. Jones backs out, lets PVG go through. Good move by Jones. That corner's not worked side by side at all. all evening, Tom.
No, and he had to get the move done there, PVG. I think once he was committing himself, he had to completely get the move done in good time, and he did so. And now we are seeing McEwen going through on Craig Jones. They are in different classes, these two, so it's no surprise to see McEwen making light work of Jones, heading through the hanger straight and the right-hander of Stowe corner. But further out in front, you can see Pete Newman's lead has come down so much. He was distance ahead of the rest, but now Pullen is right into the slipstream, and it could debate now, it's very much a debate, that's for certain, is that whether Pullen is in the right class.
Yeah, I think it's well open now. If he can stay with Pete Newman, he definitely is not on AM on that one. There might be a promotion coming for Pullen and Jenkins. Jenkins is staying ahead of Ayres and PVG. That is pro pace. Craig Jones effectively, if they get promoted, would be leading the AMs here, but he's going to have to see what happens over the next week or so, whether or not there's going to be changes. I think there has to be changes. I think there needs to be changes, and I think Pullen and Jenkins both need to go into pros with McEwen. So great little action. The front two battling away. You can see the next five having a go. Jones has got McLean closing in. Can he really effectively? Oh!
Seen a collision between what looks like Hafford, McLean, and I think, was it Kellerman that was involved in that? Let's have a look.
Was there contact with Cullinan? Yeah. Cullinan put him round, then into Sanson, then into Steve Hefford, who just could not avoid him. And unfortunately for that, there was contact with all of them. PVG, Ayres, Jenkins and McLean battling it out. Colin Sanson goes down the order expected on that one. Dan Hunt and Wilson running side by side down into Club. Hunt's going to have the inside line. Is Wilson going to be able to hold it? He's not. Hunt's going to take it away. Back up front, no, Tom. Newman and Jenkins still going at each other. Newman and Pullen, sorry.
Yeah, Newman and Pullen into combat. It will be in a moment. But Ralph Cullinan should take a hefty penalty for that, because he effectively took out 3 cars thanks to running in too close into the back of McLean at Beckett's corner.
Yeah, he definitely did. He just got a little bit too gun-ho, did Ralph Cullinan on that one. Pullen, however, is keeping the likes of Newman locked in behind, right as close as you can possibly go. On board now we go with Pullen. That is Steve Hefford in front of us right at this moment in time. We're going to make the move, are we? No, we're going to bump draft him down. We're going to try and open up the gap. What's happening behind? Well, same kind of thing. Van Gaal, however, takes the chance and goes around the outside. Is that going to leave opening up the inside for Jenkins? It's not at the moment here as well. PVG could have put himself in a great load of difficulty there, Tom, by opening up that inside line. Jenkins wasn't close enough to him, but I can tell you what, Jenkins ain't going to need another sniff again. He needs to be careful, does PVG on that one.
Well, PVG finding his way through on Jenkins at last, as is Ayres. 4 position, Ayres up to second in class, Gull up to third in class. Jenkins currently second in the AMS, as he's got McEwen right behind, so he needs to be sensible from here on in. It's unlikely he's going to catch Luke Pullen, who is less than a tenth adrift of Pete Newman as they head towards the slalom section of Ireland, and it will soon be Beckett's as they head through very, very shortly. How long will it be before Pullen sends it?
Oh, I would sit back and say it depends on how sensible he wants to be. Does he want to go for the overall win as an AM currently, and I say that in a precautionary way, or does he want to go for does he want to just lead and let Pete Newman carry on? It's going to be interesting to see what he does here. It's decision time. PVG and Ayres side by side. PVG's got that inside line currently at the moment. Is he going to take that away? McEwen and Jenkins. McEwen has just gone through on Jenkins as well. So a great job from all of these, but PVG taking that position away from Ayres. Ayres is coming back at him at Club. The 2 letter L Racing boys are fighting in behind him. And Luke Pullen is still there with Pete Newman. He's still on this one. Jones is still attached as well. Could this be the second podium of the night for Mr. Jones?
Well, it could well be. He's had a fairly good evening so far. I know he's had his melodies earlier in getting involved in incidents with other drivers, most particularly the one with Dan Hunt earlier on in the race. But he's doing a fine job other than that, and he's on course for an AM podium. And he'll want to just keep hold of it and just watch how this race goes on. And we see these 2 who are are very much in a league of their own. There's no doubt about that. But can Pullen send it on Newman on this lap, or is he going to be as cautious as what we've seen from him all the way through this one?
Not entirely sure what he's going to do here. Depends on what the racing spirit and what his fighting body tells him to do. And, well, is telling him to try and go up the inside into Stowe. Is he going to be let go? Is he going to have this moment here? Luke Pullen does go through. He takes the position away from Pete Newman. For how long, though? That's going to be the question. Is it going to be for a long period of time? Newman's going to come up the inside in club. These two battling away. Pullen's going to try and grab the inside. Newman's going to try and block him off. Newman gives him space for days. More space than he actually needed here. It's going to be a run now. They're almost going to be side by side. Pullen on the right. Newman in the pure Sims blue and white. Newman does manage to hold on. Great racing so far from these two, and at the moment Newman's hanging on by the skin of his teeth, I think.
Just about so, but they've got a great distance ahead of Ayres, Gull and McEwen, who are in a battle of their own for the final overall podium position, whereas Jenkins and Jones are in a battle for second and third in the AMS. Jones within touching distance. We see McEwen going through on Gull on the approach to Island, but Gull is not having any of it.
No, he's come back at him again. McEwen now in there with Jenkins. Jones also in there as well. Is he going to be able to get through for Mr. Jones? It's going to be interesting to see if he does do it this time around. Is he going to be able to use the draft? That's going to be the problem for Craig. And can he stay with Jenkins? Jenkins has looked quick all evening, so it's going to be very, very interesting to see if he can. Pullen and Van Gaal still running side by side and still battling it out, 3 tenths between them. Jones has just got to keep it on the track, I feel here, Tom, and then he's going to give himself a right opportunity with Jenkins there as well.
Yeah, Jenkins within touching distance of McEwen, but he knows that's not his fight. I think their teammates, judging by the liveries that they've got on as well, both McEwen and Leon. Yeah, they're part of the same team, all those two, as is Luke Pullen. So the 3 drivers within the same team competing, a new team for this season. So they've got a chance to make up some ground on those already existed in the UK SimRacers MX5 in 2024. And now we're right on board with Craig Jones. You can just see the activity he's having with his hands on the steering wheel. And watch how his hands play a role as they go through the chicane of Island here. So he's going to go right, over the curb, and then left, and then right. You just see it was minimal amount of rotation in the second part of that chicane where he was turning left. He didn't really need to turn left that much. He just needed to allow the car to just roll through the corner because he knows he was going to have another right coming up. But back to the battle for the lead, because we've got Newman and Pullen nose to tail once more, and we've got definitely another 3 laps to go. The dry conditions like we've seen earlier this evening, I don't know if we'll get any rain, but judging by those clouds, they do look ominous, don't they?
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's on its way. The question will be, will it be during the race, or will it be just that straight swap over into race number 4? That's going to be the question. And are we going to see a different standard of who is capable in the rain and who is not? Pullen now giving Newman a great heap of pressure. He's got the run possibly as well. Is Newman going to block him off? He does a little bit, gives him a nice big wide line going into Island. This too wide has not worked, I can tell you now. And is this going to work this time? It is. Pullen's going to go through. Newman's got a sweeping lot of run back on him. He's going to try and duck underneath him. Pete Newman hard on the brakes. He's going to go now. Pullen's going to be in there. They're going to come together. Oh.
Now, is Newman out of the race? I don't know if he's picked up damage. Well, he's certainly picked up damage on that left-hand side of his machine, but he'll be livid with Pullen. That's a terrible shame because they left each other respect and room up until that point. We're going to see it again. And yeah, Pullen just turns in on him. He doesn't allow him to just rotate through, and that will have damaged Newman's car for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Newman hit the apex as well. So that's not even in question whether or not he did that. He did do that one. Pullen and Ayres and Van Gaal, fired out. Sanson, Hepford and McLean in the pit lane. We saw what's happened to them. There was no chance of them guys being back on the race circuit. Jones is losing a little bit of time to Jenkins, almost a second now, and he's got Ralph Cullinan pushing up behind him there, the Irishman chasing the Englishman. Pete Newman has recovered, he's back out on 8th. He's going to have to keep going here, but what is Jones going to be able to do? He needs Cullinan really to push him along. It's going to be one more lap, 12 in the dry. We think it's going to be 11 in the rain, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next race here with that top 8 reverse is all rain going into that final race of the evening.
And if it does rain in the warm-up session before the race, get out there ASAP. Get some mileage in before the race begins. Do not go into it with zero practice in the conditions, because you will struggle.
Yep. You will. There's no question about it. Cullinan's just about to try and go up the inside of Jones into Stowe. Is Jones going to try that cutback? He may have just had to break them because he did carry a lot more speed through. Jones still tucked in behind. Ayres and PVG tucked in again with the Little L Racing, Andrew McEwen and Leon Jenkins in behind him. And these guys are continuing to fight away. Jenkins really just needs McEwen to get on his bike a little bit and try and stay with the guys in front. They don't want to lose time between them. Pete Newman has got Kellerman, Hunt and Wilson in behind that. Battles all the way through, but it's mainly here we're going to see, I think, as we're on the final lap of the race now, Tom.
Yeah, so we've got a battle for the final podium position. Well, for the second place, actually, overall. Pullen is going to pick up a rare AM victory overall, but that collision with Newman could be under investigation in the near future. But for now, we'll just say that Pullen has won out in the AMs. It's the second time this year, at least anyway, that an AM driver has won overall in a UK SimRacers MX5 race.
Yeah, the question will be, how long will he stay AM? That's going to be the question, and whether or not he's going to move up. But Pullen is going to come over, take that victory in race number 3. Is it somewhat acrimonious? It is. Ayres is going to take that second place. PVG is going to grab 3rd, and McEwen is going to grab 4th. Craig Jones comes over the line for another podium. Leah Jenkins gets 2nd. Jones gets 3rd. Dan Hunt is going to lead Newman all the way down to the line with Kellerman, Wilson, Siddons and Toon coming over again. But a victory for Pullen, but somewhat acrimonious.
Yeah, there's no discussion, and I think he just simply refused to allow Newman to just turn into the corner. Instead, he just turned on him, expecting him to turn in sooner than he did, and he just wasn't patient, was Pullen, unfortunately.
Yeah, on that one. But we'll be seeing what happens there with the guys after the race. But we're just waiting for Alan Toon, who coming over the line right now. Old Tooney, there you go, wraps it up for us, does Alan Toon. Here are the results from race number 3. Luke Pullen is your winner. Jamie Ayres in 2nd, taking the pro victory. There you go, there's the rain. Then we've got PVG and Andrew McEwen, your 1, 2, 3. Leon Jenkins takes 2nd in the AMs with Ralph Cullinan in the mix there, separating him from Craig Jones, who was 3rd in the AMs. Another 2nd podium for him in the night. Dan Hunt 8th, Pete Newman 9th. They're going to be, Dan Hunt will be on pole alongside Jones in the rain. Charles Kellerman, Jamie Wilson, Siddons, Tooney, Sanson McLean and Steve Hefford at taking that final spot. So we're just going to go into a warm-up. Don't forget, everybody, get your wet tyres on. As I say that, Dan Hunt is sitting in the pit lane on dries. So he needs to make sure he changes them, because we've seen that before and that don't work.
Yeah, one driver who'll be fancying his chances, I would say, is Jamie Ayres, because I haven't picked up on all the results because we've seen so much that's happened, but it feels like he's had a stronger evening than either Newman and Hunt have.
Yeah, I agree, but it's the rain, Tom. It's the world's greatest equaliser.
It's true, but for the sake of the championship, if he can get a strong result tonight, and it feels like he's had a strong run of results this evening, he's going to be at least close. He could even move into the lead of the championship by the end of tonight.
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting going into next week on that one. We'll keep an eye out on the scores, of course, and bring them before next week's race. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. The warm-up's got about 3 minutes to go. And we will be going to Alton Park International Circuit next week. So stay tuned for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are on 5 of 7 British circuits before we venture out to America for Road America, funny enough. Then VIR, then Barber, then New Hampshire Road, and then the 26th has changed. It is now the Saxon Ring. So, yeah, not quite heard of the Saxon Ring before, so I might have to do some Googling on that one.
Well, I'm going to do some Googling right now and just find out whereabouts is the Saxon Ring. And no, I'm not thinking about Saxon Rings. The Saxon Ring is in Germany, which is no surprise. So it's actually going to be the only circuit in the autumn where it's not going to be in either the UK or in the US. So this one's in Germany. That's been around since it's first opened. Well, it was opened in 1927 and then closed in 1990 as a road circuit before, well, it carried on as it is. But the current configuration they've got has been around since 2003, the Circuit A Grand Prix circuit, as it's called. And I would expect to be a lot of overtaking around there because with the nature of these cars, it feels like we're going to see a lot of action, especially for a season finale.
Absolutely. Should be an exciting one, but we've got rain for race number 4. Don't forget, if you are here, guys, for the first time, like, subscribe, turn on the bells and do all that other fancy jazz for free. That would be amazing. As we see, that is, I believe, one of the little racing boys going off the side of the circuit there. Unfortunately, we're on board with Darren McLean. Rainmaster Ollie Ricks is not here. Steve Hefford is another one, but he had a rotten race 3 and is going to be starting towards the back.
Well, if he's good at these conditions, it doesn't matter which grid position you're in. You can just slice your way through the field and leave everyone for dust. That's what Steve Hefford will be thinking.
Yep. That's exactly what he's hoping for, I think, for Steve. It's really difficult because him and Ricks are probably the outstanding performers in the rain. Newman's had his little bits of a moment here as well, where sometimes it's good and then sometimes it's bad. Some of the others that are untried and tested, like the new guys, it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do.
Well, that's the £1 million question that we're going to find out. Can either of the letter L Racing, don't know why they've called it that, but it sounds interesting enough anyway. It almost sounds like the Lechner Racing in Porsche Supercup. It kind of reminds me of that actually a little bit. But yeah, it'll be good to see how they get on in these conditions because we've not seen them in wet weather conditions. We know what they're like in the dry now. They're very, very competitive, but the rain is a different kettle of fish as the seconds tick down, and I'd imagine the drivers will be gearing up for the race. Who will reign supreme in the British weather around Silverstone?
Surprise, surprise, it's raining at Silverstone. Now, I'm going off the letter L because that is what Jamie messaged me earlier on. He said 3 new ones are from the letter L Racing. So I don't know if he was telling me that it was L Racing or he was telling me it was letter L Racing. But anyway, Dan Hunt is going to lead the way. Look at that weather. Craig Jones in second with Ralph Cullinan in third. Then Leon Jenkins, Andrew McEwen, PVG, Jamie Ayres and Luke Pullen. Pete Newman and Charles Kellerman rounding out the top 10. Jamie Wilson and Fiona Siddons. And then you've got Sir Alan Toon, Sanson, McLean and the Rainmeister. That is Steve Hefford at the back end of that one. I've read it quite quick because the guys are all getting onto the grid and it's dark. And we don't have lights, and it's raining. What can go wrong?
We're just waiting for one more car to get onto the grid now, which is Pete Newman. Providing he gets on the right tyres, because they've had this issue at Donington, if you remember, and it caused all sorts of pandemonium all the way to the end with very few finishes. Everyone is on. It's over to you, James.
Here we go. The lights are going to be coming on very, very shortly. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Final race of the night is green, green, green. I would say Dan Hunt got off the line, but he did, and he got off the line very, very, very gingerly. Indeed, Jones sitting in behind him, Jenkins in behind that, Cullinan now as well. Pitch black in the evening here in Silverstone, and it is 17 degrees centigrade, and it's 6:45 in the evening. It must be in the winter time, however, because it is very, very dark indeed. Jenkins, Cullinan swapping places, McEwen in there, Ayres is in there, everybody tiptoeing around, and Dan Hunt has just gone on his bike. Where are you, Steve Pefford? Let's be having you, son, as he's making his way past Charles Caliban with Colin Sanson next in this man's sight. Jenkins has gone past Jones as well, and this is going to be very, very interesting, Tom. This rain, wow, is playing a massive part, and dark as well.
Well, the clouds just makes it even darker. It's like sunsets come sooner, and it's the fact that why we're in October, I think it is. So I think it's more like autumn time rather than winter time. But as the weeks progress towards the end of the season, the light will fade sooner and sooner. But the drivers have got a job on their hands, and they're making the most of it. We are looking at Leon Jenkins, who's in second place and highest of the AMs, fancying his chances as we've got a battle for third.
Yeah, great little battle there with Jamie Ayres, Luke Pullen in that one, McEwen and PBG all having a little bit of a ding-dong. Jones is struggling in the rain. He's struggling that much. He's pirouetting round into the barrier with Ralph Cullinan. Does Craig Jones go? Luke Pullen side by side with Ayres, trying to find the grip. There's not much of it. And Jamie Ayres goes in, well, he's in second in pros. It's fourth overall, sorry. And it is Leon Jenkins and Luke Pullen leading the AMs. So on that one, PVG in there. What did happen to Ralph Cullinan and Craig Jones? Because that was a bit dramatic. Oh, that's the after effect. Let's see if we can get the main part of the main body of that. Oh, they're three wide. That'd be why. And then these two just got looped together. Jones on the curb. Slides into Cullinan. Unfortunately, that was Craig Jones's fault, and that would go with the fact he said in YouTube chat he has no mates, and that could be the reason why, Tom.
And we've also lost Colin Sanson and Sir Alan Toon, so we're beginning to lose drivers now as we are approaching the end of the second lap, as we see someone else nearly dropping it through Chapel. That was Andrew McEwen this time, but unbelievably he was able to just lift off the throttle and allow the car to just correct the slide, and he's able to carry on his way, but he's lost positions.
Yeah, look who's coming. Look who's coming. The man's up 9 places. He's on his way. He is on his way for Steve Hefford. He's going to sweep round. For whatever reason, Steve is mighty in the rain, and I would not put it past him just to go and win this race. Dan Hunt has just made a mistake with Leon Jenkins. Jenkins is down the order as well. I'm wondering if this is a dive from Dan Hunt. Or from Jenkins, sorry. Oh no, Jenkins slides on the way in.
Yeah, he's hit him quite heavily as well. I'd be interested to know whether that's affected the handling of Hunt's car. Maybe not too much, but he's very lucky to continue on as he is.
Yep.
But Luke Pullen is into the lead overall. And could he pick up 2 wins this evening on debut?
Well, we're going to find out, but we're going to keep an eye on this man. 7th place now for Steve Jenkins. You can't battle him. You're going to, in a weird way, you've just got to let him go. He is mighty in the rain, and he is coming at a rate of knots. Steve Hefford up 10 places. He's on the march, Tom. He's making closing moves. Can he get there before the end of the race?
Well, we'll wait and see. But the drivers need to stay off the curbs as they can. They're going to be so slippery, and we're seeing puddles of water beginning to develop. So it's going to make it even more tricky between now and the end of the race. Ralph Cullen has exited the pits, by the way, thinking that he can salvage something, even though he is a lap down. Jamie Ayres and Dan Hunt swapping places all the time as we speak on the approach to Vale Corner, and Ayres has got himself in front and right on the tail of Luke Pullen as they begin lap number 4.
Yeah. But Pullen's going to try and go round now as well. Is he going to try and hold it? Jamie Ayres is looking up the inside. He's now gone to the outside. It's getting darker and darker and darker on that one. And he's now fighting. Newman in, PVG in, Hunt in, Hefford. I'm on my way is coming now. Steve sitting at the back there, just waiting patiently. I think there's going to be moves here for Steve as well. I'm not going to count him out for the win, Tom. I am not counting Steve Hefford out for the win on this one. I think he is in with a great opportunity as long as he can pass these cars cleanly.
Yeah, he needs to be sensible and just remain patient. It's a quick lap as well around Silverstone, so he's got enough chances to get the move done. Ayres taking the lead from Pullen on the approach to Island. It looked like he was almost going to go into the gravel because it was that far out wide and going over the puddles, but somehow he was able to make it as Gull gets through on Dan Hunt for a moment. But Hunt is not going to give up, but Gull has got the move done as Pullen goes back through on Ayres into Stowe corner.
Hunt's in the pit, he's showing in the pit lane. I don't think he is. I think he's trying to save the car. But he was ended up in what was the entrance to the pit lane. Hefford, 12 places in 4th place. This man is mighty.
A man on a mission, but Ayres is having another go on Pullen, but look, he's coming through. Hefford will be rubbing his hands in glee. He'll be happy to see Pullen and Ayres fighting for all their worth, and he'll be closing on him in a flash as Pullen goes back through into Abbey, and Ayres and Gull will be right on his tail. Will Ayres do the same as what he did last time, heading through the King before Island into the lead once again? Here he goes, look, round the outside goes Ayres on Pullen into Island. Will he go through safely? Pullen still has the high ground, but now they're heading through the Simon session. This could get messy if they're not careful.
Yeah, Pullen getting sideways, Ayres getting sideways, Van Gogh, Steve Hefford now. He needs to clear PVG straight away if he can, Hefford, because he's only got 7 minutes and he's currently got a gap at this moment in time of 1.7 seconds to make up. He is now up 12 places. We've lost Pete Newman on that one, and Newman, well, Hunt's been off. I'm wondering, did he get caught up with Newman? No, he runs a little bit wide. So where did Newman have his moment? Oh, this may have been, no, yes, maybe, no, he just pulls in. There's Pete Newman, goes on the grass, gets it all a little bit wrong, and then I think after that one, jumps straight back into the pits. But Steve Hefford still in between PVG, and he really wants to get past him as soon as he can to start his ascent on Jamie Ayres there. For Steve Hefford, Craig Leon Jenkins in second, Darren McLean in third, Charles Kellerman in 4th place. Craig Jones joined us back in YouTube chat. You're a passenger on the grass where you probably shouldn't have hit the curb on the outside. That might have made it a little bit easier for you on that one. Pulling up 7. You can see Hefford up 12. He needs PVG out the way here, Tom. He's got to get PVG out the way.
Yeah, he's got to get the move done. He's running out of time. It's Hefford, so he needs to just tuck into the slipstream and get through, ideally into Stowe corner. He should know where the grip is by now, so he needs to use that to his advantage and make his way through on PVG, who by no stretch of the imagination is he a specialist in these conditions like Hefford is. So Hefford should be able to use that to his advantage and make his way through ASAP.
Yeah, looks like Luke Pullen may have had a slowdown. He's let Jamie Ayres go. Is he going to lose another place here? Or PVG got a slide that put Hefford off for a little bit of a minute. Hunt's now in there. Pullen still mixing it on. Hunt's going down the pit lane apparently again, but he's not. Pullen has got major problems at the moment.
Well, is he got the slowdown penalties again? He's beginning to really struggle here. He's got another car almost right behind. He's tapped him. I think. Oh no,
he's miles away. He lost it on his own.
Okay, so Pullen carrying on his way then. Hunt in 5th position overall, but the battle for the win is very much on now. Hefford all over the back of Gull. Now that Pullen's out of the way, he can concentrate on just getting through. Remember, these 3 are teammates to each other, so how do they want to play it?
Well, it's the last race of the night, right? Fastest first, isn't it?
Well, to be fast, you've got to know where the grip is. Oh, Ayres nearly drops it on the approach to Island. Surely he won't have gained time from doing that, but somehow I think it might have done. So Ayres has nothing to be worried about by his standards, but we are looking at Pullen, who will be looking to make up after those slowdowns. and get back into the action here for a race win. He's on course to win in the AMs anyway, because McLean is well and truly behind. In fact, he's in a battle with Jenkins, is McLean. So there is a battle for an AM podium of second and third between Jenkins and McLean. But these lot, as we watch Ayres, Gull, Hefford and Pullen fight over the outright race win for the last one of the evening.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Steve now is playing it careful because he's got teammates in front of him. What we really want to see is Steve that's gone through the field. We don't want to see this cautious, tail that we've got of Steve Hefford. We want that aggressive man who come through the field, who slice through the field like a hot knife through butter. Get past your teammates. They are slowing you down. It needs to be, you need to get through. Pullen is still there, and at the moment, he ain't going away. So Steve, slice through your teammates, bud. Come on that one. You've sliced through all 13 other people on here, Tom. He needs to do the same to the people in front, because at the moment, he's just bringing Luke Pullen in.
Yeah, well, he's got to get a move on now, has Hefford. He's running out of time, like I've already said. But, he's just watching Ayres doing Tokyo Drift through Ireland, which is very risky to do. But it feels to me like Ayres knows where the grip is. PVG is just having to follow the tracks of his, and you can just see how close Hefford and Pullen are together. We could see 3 wide on the entry to Stoke Corner this time.
Got to go. You got to go, Steve. He's slowing you up. You've got to have a go here, mate. I know you can't see a lot, but you've got to go past him. Also, you can't afford to open up the door. Hefford's gone. Oh, that was a
too deep.
Yeah.
He's gone way too deep.
Desperation move for Steve Hefford. And now it's all wrong. They should have swapped. They should have swapped because PVG was just holding him up there, and he should have got him through. I can tell you that much. He's going to be kicking himself a little bit.
Yeah, he'll be furious with that. Gull maybe should have just allowed him through, but Gull's got a race on his hands. Anyway, and Pullen has all of a sudden got back into the fight here. And what will Gull be thinking now? Hefford won't be too pleased one bit as we see Pullen go through on Gull into Abbey, but he's gone too deep and they collide! Just like what they did when Pullen and Hunt came together in one of the other races.
Yeah, Luke Pullen and PVG having a collision. That's going to free Steve Hefford up to go after Pullen now. You see Pullen's taking a big old dive. He's gone round, he's gone the inside and then tries to come back onto the track and spins PVG round. Luke Pullen still sitting in second. Again, Hefford's off the circuit. Steve, you've done so well.
He's just... careful, don't rejoin into the path of another driver. So thankfully he doesn't do that. And this one has been to forget for Hefford. He knows this was a missed opportunity. But Pullen will once again be under investigation for that contact because that was 100% on him for the contact with Gull at Abbey Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Pullen's been involved in a little bit and somewhat acrimonious circumstances. Him and Pete Newman, him and PVG kind of coming in and upsetting the old guard here, Luke. You're definitely putting it around, son. Let's put it that way. McEwen in a battle with Hefford, and Hefford is gotten past. He needs to clear PVG. There ain't going to be many times left. You're going to have one more lap after this, I think, for Steve, and I think this is going to be about as far up as he's going to get here. What about Pullen and Hunt? See what happens there.
Well, we'll find out soon enough as they come through. Abbey, once more. Pullen, who is on course for another AM victory. Will this be a clean sweep for Pullen? Because it feels like he's about to pick up 4 AM wins on debut.
Yeah, he is. 4 in a row. That's what does make me wonder how long he will stay in the AMs, to be blatantly honest. I can guarantee that might be a swap. Because, let's be real. He's taken 4 out of 4 and one of them was an overall win. So, maybe it's time for a little bit of a promotion already. No catching Jamie in the wet. Oh, ow, I don't disagree with you very often, but Steve Hefford could have caught him, but he got caught up between PVG, and it just went all a little bit wrong after that for Steve. He's up 11, he was up 13, made a mistake. I reckon he could have got him if PVG had let him go. I really do, Al, on that one. And as I say, I don't disagree with you often, but it's Jamie Hayes comes over, takes the victory in race number 4. Darren Hunt in second. Luke Pullen wraps up 4 out of 4 in the AMs for the overalls, for the AM wins all night. 4 out of 4 for him. Hepford comes over the line in 5th, maybe kicking himself. Wilson and McEwen side by side. Wilson is going to grab that one away from McEwen. Jenkins is going to come over in 8th. Second in the AMs. Darren McLean is going to wrap up 3rd in the AMs there with Charles Kellerman and Fiona Siddons. The last one's running. Charles has got somebody tucked in behind him now. I wonder if that's Ralph Cullinan. It is Ralph Cullinan in beside him there. So we're just waiting for Fiona Siddons. Great racing again, and more of a what could have been for Steve Hefford.
Yeah, he just threw it all away, didn't he? Just like he did in Mugello earlier in this year, where he looked so good, even after the first spin, and then after the second spin, he just gave it up. But at least he's got to the end of this one, but he'll be ruining that opportunity because that was a missed one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It will be a missed opportunity for him there. He's got to be upset with himself as Steve Hefford. But here are the results from race number 4. And Jamie Ayres is your winner. Dan Hunt in second. Luke Pullen 4 out of 4. Great debut, but whether or not he'll stay in an AMS, I'll be very surprised. PBG in 4th. Steve Hefford 5th. Jamie Wilson 6th. And Andrew McEwen in 7th. Leon Jenkins taking 2nd in the AMS with Darren McLean wrapping out the podium. Charles Kellerman and Fiona Siddons, the last finisher with Ralph Cullinan 1 lap down. No Pete Newman, no Colin Sampson, and no Craig Jones, and no Alan Toon. Sum it up for us then, Tom. How was the evening in the racing?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, on a course which we were not too familiar with, and we obviously know Silverstone as a circuit, but not this particular configuration from the old sort of days of Silverstone. But this configuration certainly put on some great racing for the Mazda MX5s. And it's on to the next round in a week's time. Just looking through the calendar, it's at the Alton Park International course. And on the back of previous experience of commentating around Alton Park, it should be something special. Hopefully more than what we had tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. But the racing's been good here. I think it's been really good, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And race 4 is, really showing what they had here in the rain, and I think it's a great job from all of them. Right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to everybody that's joined us in YouTube chat here as well. Much appreciated on that one. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells before you leave. That would be absolutely amazing. But that's going to round it out from myself. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns. Join us later for the BSC as we go and attack Charlotte Roval in the NASCAR Cup Series. But for now, guys, as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.